Guys, this is a video where we'll be taking a Power Apps application template, such as my Jumpstart kit. We're going to take it, we're going to customize it for a client, and we're going to take their style guide or their colors that they use for their branding for their company, and we're going to take our Jumpstart kit, we're going to customize it with that. Okay, you guys excited?
I am.
I'm excited. So what I'm going to do is move us to the bottom, as Kurt would say, our mini-me's. And if you have the Jumpstart kit, you just go down and find it within School in the Classroom tab. Okay, so let's go do that. Ultimate Jumpstart Kit. And this video shows you how to import and export, which is actually really important to know when you're working with MS App files. Now, there's several ways to import and export. You can export and then import them as a zip. I find this process to be simpler, easier, especially if you're not creating a solution package. And it's just, you have a simple Power Apps application you need to upload. Okay, so this video will actually take you through it. And if you do a search on YouTube, you're going to find it by searching for Darrenese Importing and Exporting. Now down here, I have these two templates. One's the landscape, one's the portrait or the phone app. Most features are in the landscape template. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to download it. As you can see, the extension is MS App. So I'll download that. And it's going to put it somewhere. I'm going to save it here, probably on my desktop. That would be a great place to put it here. So I'll do that. Okay, and it should be downloaded now. All right, so now that that's downloaded, I am logged into a tenant here in which I want to work, okay? And what we have here, I just sort of want to show you the import process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just to Power Apps in general, okay? And I can do that by, oh, it's going to probably make me log in here. Okay. Not helping me out here. Guys, bear with me. I'll need to. Of course, technology never works very smooth when you really need it to, right? Especially when you're presenting.
Exactly.
Are you guys muted or what?
No. Right here with you, bud.
Right here with you.
Very good, very good. Now, what I do when I work with a different tenant is I create a browser profile that will keep all the passwords and the cookies and everything separate. That's what I recommend really for everybody, because eventually you'll get into some issue where the browsers are all confused and your cookies are all messed up and you're trying to log in or log out of something and it won't let you. It'll keep bringing up the old stuff. I'm like, let's create them as separate edge profiles. And that's what sort of helps me keep my sanity through all these different logons and passwords. So I'm going to look up the password here that I thought was saved. Apparently it was not. And I think that might be it. So when I go back here, I want to open up a new Power Apps. And this is funny because now it's not even going to ask for the password. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now that we're here, what I typically show people in that import export is you want to create just a simple little app. So I'm going to click create a blank app and I'll click on create. And it really doesn't matter what it is, because this is going to be a little throwaway. And this may not make sense, but there is an open menu item that I'm trying to get at that isn't normally available. But once you have an app open, you just hit Control O, and you can go browse for it. Okay. So this is the one that I downloaded. I'm going to click open. Now at this point, what it's going to do is like, hey, do you want to save this? Now it's not asking about the one you're trying to upload. It's asking about this little throwaway thing. So I say, no, don't save that.
Don't save that.
And it's going to bring in the new one. So I welcome you guys' questions if you've ever dealt with this, or because I know that people that are trying to upload files, they might be dealing with the same type of issues. So it brings up the template here. So now we have everything loaded up. That's nice. Now I've already done this, and I already started a project using this. So typically what I do, you see the name of the project up here. What I typically do is I leave this one alone. This is the fresh new upload. I'll do a save as, and then I'll say, okay, well, this is a template for this organization. So I'll say whatever the organization is. So like Green Thumb, I would type Green Thumb template. And then I've got a pristine Power Apps project that is already themed and customized for this organization. Okay. And then we'll make a copy of that for every new app they want me to build for them.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this.
So just remember, if you're going to be doing this as a freelancer, that this would be using this as a freelancer. This is a two-step process. You're taking the original one, you're putting it into one that's already been themed, and then that's the one that you're going to be using to copy into everyone. And then you're going to do that for every vendor that you do work for, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll typically charge about 2 hours worth of my time to take a template and to customize it. That's generally how long it takes me. It might take you shorter, it might take you longer. Just depends on how good you are at working with the colors and the themes and getting things to look the way that you or your client wants them to look.
Yep.
Okay. So I was given a little swatch. Is that what you call them when you go find like different colors to paint or something? A little swatch of different, the color palette. That's what I'm trying to think of. A color palette here. So what I'm going to do is, and it's not all that easy to see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this image down and show you the theme that we're going for. Okay. So within the Jumpstart kit, we have primary dark. This would be secondary dark. And then primary light, I might use this, and secondary light, maybe the soft amber. So essentially in the Jumpstart kit, what we have are 5 different colors. Okay. And typically you can make those things work with anything. And you see here, this color here might be a offshoot of this one, or a fade of it. This might be a little bit of a fade of this, so really typically you're working with maybe 3 colors. So it's not that big of a deal. And then one of the things that I have in the Jumpstart kit is this body background color. Okay. And we'll probably set it up to use that. Now, when they sent me this thing here, I can't really see it too well here. So I'll probably have to use some type of eyedrop way of getting at those colors. So I'll move this off the screen. And I use Snagit a lot. It's a paid program, but I think it's well worth the money. I think it might be something like $50 and $30 a year. So I use that on any computer I have these days. I was working at an organization. Actually, quite a few organizations do use it. They buy it for everybody. And you think, well, I can make screenshots with other tools, but it's a really nice program to work with, little screenshots, because it does have an eyedropper tool, and I can find out the exact color that I'm trying to work with. Okay, so if I close down some of these things. Let me see if I can sort of show you guys an example of what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is Snagit. So I can go in here, and I believe there's a tool here. If I'm not mistaken, I thought there was an eyedropper. Be really surprised if it
I'm sure
wasn't
that's
there.
where you got it from. I remember you using this before.
Now, I do use Canva a lot for like my YouTube thumbnails. I do a lot of work with graphics inside of that. Do you guys see like an eyedropper or anything?
I'm not seeing it.
I'm a little disappointed in myself here that I thought it was here. You know what? If I was to draw a shape on here, say a solid shape, and I were to draw it right here, well, look at this. This is how I've used it. You click on this little drop down. You see the eyedropper tool there? Click on that. Then I click on that little image, and there's my hexadecimal. So I'm going to copy that. Okay, move that up there. Now, this is the Jumpstart kit. I've done very little customization so far. Now, typically, I got a little video here that shows you how to use the Jumpstart kit. I didn't need to see that to do this, but you've got these screens off to the left side here. Let me check my settings, not only for the live stream, I am streaming in high def. I also wanted to make this video available to my YouTube members that allows people to sort of watch me work. And also this is going to be available to our Accelerator students as well. So let me just make sure I've got all that set up right here. Now I do have a client that is expecting this to be done in about an hour and a half. So I thought it was a good opportunity to sort of go through this and show you how I do it in about 2 hours. Nothing like a little pressure that will get you motivated to push through and get something done, right? You ever had projects like that, Kurt?
All the time. And if you can't get it done in that amount of time, it ain't worth getting done.
Yeah.
You got this.
Come on, content.
As long as I keep you from steering off the beaten path very long.
Thank you. I want to go fast, but I don't want to go too fast.
Of course, then you're going to say, "Well, Kurt, say something."
I will. I will. Let's see. Set that up for members, and we'll push that there. Okay, very good. I just want to make sure that's all set up before we really start going here. All right. All right. So where you do all the work on the theme is going to be copy controls from here. There is a screen that is indeed called copy controls from here. And if I were to run this, you can see that we've got a lot of different themes that we can pick from. And I don't know that we've got something incredibly close to this theme. I'm going to keep an eye out for like peach colors. We might just go with something really odd. So here's now, I think I'm going to just stick with the Power Apps purple as the one to work with. So I have a button here. If you click on that button, go into the code, and we'll start replacing this. Well, the first thing we need to do is give it a good name. So here we have, I'm going to call it Green Thumb. The Green Thumb theme. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's Kurt's. Mm-hmm. Okay. The Green Thumb. Okay, so menu back color. I always like a complete pure white for the menu back. The back color of this menu, it always looks best with a white background. You don't have to do it you don't have to use complete white, but if you want white, it's 6 Fs in there to accomplish that. Okay. Menu 4 color. Well, that's going to end up being my primary dark, which is that green color that we were just looking at. I'm going to make sure I've got that code there. So for this primary dark, I'm going to paste that in there, make sure you only have one pound sign. Is that what it's called? What is that called, Kurt?
Yeah.
Pound sign?
Yeah. You know, it's funny
hashtag.
Yeah, it's the hashtag sign.
Tic-tac-toe. So I always use what's primary dark. Now, did I just put that in the wrong place? No. Because for each of these, we've got a font or a foreground color, right? So the menu for color, I always want to have that be the same thing as primary dark. And now this is, you always got to pay attention when a client gives you specific direction, like this thing right here.
Yep.
These things might not be pure white. And see how they're not using white on this white smoke, right? They're showing me what they want the foreground color to be.
Yep.
Now, most medium to large size companies, they will have a whole style guide. And it's like serious business. You might end up getting, if you ask their marketing department, hey, can I get a copy of the style guide? They'll have like maybe 30 to 50 page PDF showing you what are the allowed colors, the allowed fonts. They'll spell everything out, the types of images. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out that some people might not know that as 4-color. What you're talking about is the letter colors. In some of the older languages, they used to call them 4 colors and background colors.
Back when Kurt was schooling me, we called it foreground.
Back color and 4-color.
with VB6, right?
Yeah. Now it's just called color.
Now it's called color.
And
yeah.
filler. Yeah.
In CSS, it's called color, if I'm not mistaken. And then the background is actually called background dash color. And so it looks like Elvis might be having some technical difficulties. So hopefully he'll join us here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep using that that eyedropper tool. Yeah. The foreground color for that one is definitely not white. It almost looks white, but it's not. Okay, so I've got this primary dark font. I'm going to paste it there. Take out the pound sign. Primary light. Okay, look at this. Primary light. I'm sort of torn here. I might use these two colors as the light colors because this really isn't that light of a color. Yeah. So I'm going to use this. I can't even, is that cashmere? Okay. Yeah. And maybe these are web colors. Have you ever heard of web colors, Kurt?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I did a video on that in my color video, right?
You did such a good job on that. I almost want to release it into the wild on the YouTube channel.
We did.
Because you did some really cool stuff in there. You started off in black and white, and you had these marbles going around. And you looked pretty.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, really. I wish I would have done that. I made it profound, though.
You made it profound, and that's what matters. I mean,
that's what matters. You might come up with it, or you might think about it first and originate it, but I'm the one that made it profound.
I think I might. I'm already missing Elvis here. I'm gonna just reach out to him and see if maybe he's messaged me here. Say, come back, Elvis. And he gets his technical issue straight. Okay, so we have that hex color. So I'm going to move this back up here. Okay, so I'm looking for, I'll probably separate these out a little bit. Sometimes it's just easier to work with.
Sometimes.
Okay, so what we've got is we have the primary, that's the primary dark. This is the primary light. I'm going to paste that there. And then I'm going to go find out what the foreground color is for that thing that looks like white, but really isn't. So, Kurt, can you tell us a little bit about the theory behind the color, or like what's up with all these numbers? Are these, what would you call these this type of number format?
Right. So you've got your hex numbers, right? They're hex.
Why do we call them hex?
Well, because they're hexadecimal. They're hexadecimal. They're
But what's
base,
hexadecimal?
they're base 16.
Well, what does
Zero-
that mean?
0 through 9, and then A through F. So 0 through 9, A is going to resemble be the number 10. B is going to represent 11. C is going to be 12. D is 13. E is 14, and F is 15, and it starts at 0. And that's your 16. Now, do you know the reason why they do that there? Why do they do that? Why can't they just use regular binary numbers?
You know, this would be an excellent question for Elvis. Where's Elvis at? I think it's because we got bits and we got bytes. And I think that we could hold 255 different values in a byte. Am I right on that, Kurt?
That's right. However, so what it does now, so if you take 10, now it's not just computers, but it's also other things too. If you take a base 10 number, well, then you can only hold a certain amount. If you do 16, a base 16. Now think about it. You've got 2 letters representing right there. You've got 3 different pairs of numbers, right? Each two characters, like you got DF, DF, DF. Each DF is going to represent a number. That's a base 10 number is going to represent that. So you can put 16 plus 16 in there. You can do 32 numbers in there. Whereas you do base 10, you can only do 20. Right? So what happens is, what they figured out is, if you use a hexadecimal number, you can put really big numbers in a hexadecimal, a lot bigger numbers than you can in a regular decimal number in a short amount of space. So you're utilizing a lot more space, a lot less space, I should say. I said all that to say you can put more numbers in there than you can if you do base 10. That's why they do hex.
I'm going to do something fancy here, Kurt. I might need your help. I'm trying to use that Zoom It app that we like, that Mary turned us on to. I'm going to hit Control 2.
One. Control 2 is going to be the circle, the red. Control 1 is going to zoom it. I don't know if you
This is cool, Kurt. I like this. Now, Control 1, another app might have. Control 1 doesn't do anything. Oh,
no,
wow.
Control 1's going to zoom it. That's what I thought you were wanting when you said zoom. Control 1 will zoom it. Yeah.
This is cool. All right. Now, what's all this? Okay, I'm trying to move my cursor. Look at where my finger's pointing, Kurt.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so we have hex. So that's what we're working with.
That's right.
We have an R, G, B, and then an A. Can you tell me or tell our viewers what's all this RGBA stuff?
I can do that. So if you look at the hex, you look at the very left far pairs of numbers, the far pair of numbers. You got 3 pairs of numbers in there: 6, 4, 7, 6, and 8, 4. 6, 4 is going to represent the R. That's going to be the red. Now this technology was actually created in the 1800s, about 1870 something. Right. They were trying to play with color back in the 1800s when they were learning how to do photography, and they were taking these these glasses that were shaded red, green, and blue and they figured out that based on if you slide them in and out with higher values of yellow or green or blue, you can actually get all the different colors in that spectrum that you're looking for. And the technology might be old, but it was very good, and we haven't really changed it very much. We just electrified it, right? We digitized it. We put it in digital. So really all you're doing is you're taking that red and that green and the blue. That's all just a glass. And the higher the value, the more you're bringing the glass into the center so that you're increasing the value so that you can get that shade. And you can fine tune it better with this digitization.
Let me ask you a little question. If I want a complete black, what would I put in the hex?
It's either 000 or FFF. I can't remember which one it is now.
It's complete zeros. And so for the hex, if we put all zeros in there, it would do that.
There's another way to do it. There's another way to do it, right? The alpha character over there. You can make that all be black too, right? With that.
Now, what does A stand for?
The alpha. That's the alpha. Yeah.
So what does alpha mean with color?
I don't know. Apart from that, I know what the function of that is, and that just means you're either going to be solid or you're going to be transparent. It measures your transparency. Okay. Very
good. Back in the days when you taught me, there was opaque and transparent.
Yep.
And then we had to call Win32 API calls to make it semi-transparent, right?
Yep.
So you got a red value, 0 to 255. You got a green value, 0 to 255, and a blue. And then you can represent all three of those things with that hex.
Right.
So I just wanted to sort of go over that a little bit since we're dealing with all these colors.
Yeah, I wish you would have put that up there for just one more second.
Sure.
The number 64, because you brought something up that I forgot to mention. You see that number one, that the number in the red is 100. If you look over to the left, the hex, the 64, that's actually going to be the number 100 represented in base 16. Now, what base 16 would be, it would be 6 times 16, right? Plus 4, which would be 96 plus 4. Because you would have 4 left over after that. It's going to go in there that many times plus 4. So that's actually going to be 100 in hex. 76 is going to be 118, and the number 84 is going to be 132.
I like it.
It's cool. Yeah.
So if you guys want to know a lot more about this, Kurt has an amazing video that I will be releasing probably pretty soon because it's such an awesome video. Elvis, it's good to have you back. We were missing you already.
Yeah, I ended up having to take the test for you, Elvis. You were going to get tested, and that's what he did. He knew a test was coming, so he ducked out of it. That's what he did.
So you know what I'm going to do? I don't remember where I was. I'm just going to click this button. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
It's not really looking, I don't know. We're getting there, right? Okay, so we got secondary dark, and I think we were working with the light secondary light font, which was really light. Let me see here. So making this. I don't know if Champagne's going to work here. Now, so check this out. This is what I go through every time I customize the template. This bar up here it doesn't need to be like really dark, and it shouldn't be any darker than primary dark, but it needs to be a little bit less light than that. Okay. So I think what I might go is with the Copperfield color. So I'm going to go over and grab that, and you guys will see just in a moment what that hexadecimal is. Copy. Go in here. Okay, so primary light, I'm going to stick with that. And I'm going to do an eyedropper on the font for Copperfield. So Kurt or Elvis, let's start with Elvis. Elvis,
yeah.
Do you know anything about named color values? They're called web colors. Have you ever heard of that, or do you know much about that?
Web colors?
Web colors.
No, never heard of it.
Okay. What about you, Kurt? Do you know anything about that?
I think I know what you're referring to, and I'm trying to find the sheet really quick to give it to you so that you can actually see it.
So here's something. So there's a standard on the internet. So if you go here and go to color, and you notice you can say color, so you guys might be familiar with it, and just say red.
Right.
Well, what other thing? We have dark red, Indian red. This isn't something that Power Apps came up with. This is like a standard out on the internet, right?
And it's also in my color video too.
It is in your color video.
And those are enumerated values. Which enumerated values are not in my color video. However, we talk about enumerated values in there with the color thing. The thing.
But we have so many videos, it's hard for somebody to define something that we've talked about. We need to index things more.
Yeah, Elvis.
Maybe you can help us with that, Elvis. If you ever have any free time.
What we could do, Darren, is we could put that into a name formula, all those things. No.
What? But what are you talking about, the theming stuff?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I did all that before all the name formulas came about. And I think it's actually an experimental feature or a preview feature that you have to turn on.
Maybe we shouldn't do that right now because you're kind of pressed for time trying to get this done.
Yeah. So
we
we're already 30 minutes in. And let me see what I've got a countdown here. Let me see what my countdown says.
We do have a hard stop. So.
Yeah, we do have an appointment as
Mhm.
well. So I need to hurry myself up is what
Yeah,
I
we
need
got
to do.
we got 1 hour and 2 minutes, sir.
Okay.
No pressure. No pressure.
1 hour and 2 minutes, you said. Okay.
In 2 minutes.
So I think I'm going to go with the horizon color as the secondary light, like that. And some of this, guys, is when you got a bunch of colors to work with, is you plug these values in and see how the interface changes and see if you like it or not. Because sometimes you just got to play around with it.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely. That's right.
So Elvis, I've never asked you, like, what's your experience with, have you done any HTML, CSS?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I used to learn the basics back in the day.
Back in the day? Yeah, me too. I used to do
But
all
I
kinds
gave
of.
up when I saw Power Apps.
Me too. Me too. You know what got me was I was asked to learn Angular, and I'm like, JavaScript library stuff, and I tried my best learning. I felt like I was learning it, but it just never really clicked. I'm like, I don't like front end technologies that much. I can work with them, but when Power Apps came along, I'm like, oh, this is great.
It's a lifesaver.
The crazy thing is I have never worked with HTML.
Wow.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, it was always beneath me. And
it was beneath you. Do you guys know what Kurt said to me when I asked him to be the best man at my wedding? I don't know if you remember this, Kurt. Do you remember what you said to me?
I hope not. And I wish you wouldn't remind me because I'll probably cringe when I find out.
You had to think about it. And you said, I guess, but realize the honor goes both ways. I don't go to weddings. Now, this was a long time ago, guys, but it was just a funny memory.
I do.
We got lots of funny memories over the years.
And you know what? That was the last wedding that I've been to.
So you weren't kidding.
I meant it. Yeah, you were right. I do remember that.
I don't know if I like. I think I like everything. I don't like this pink bar up here. I thought I picked a darker color for that. So let's try this again. I'm going to do the eyedropper, get that color. So question, there's some people that like this type of work and some people they don't care for it. They just want to pick a theme and okay, let's go. For my clients, I always like to take the time and make everything pixel perfect and as good looking as possible. So this is going to be primary light. I'm going to paste that in there. Make sure I've got the font color right. So this is Copperfield. That's the name of it. And I think these are web colors that they're using. Run this, hit the button. I sort of like it. What do you guys think?
It's not bad.
I'm going to get rid of that red.
I've seen worse.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the code you know what? We need to have the gallery selected background color. So it's using like one of like these light colors. It took probably primary light and made it more lighter, and I like it. But what we do need is a spinner. Okay, so this is the fun stuff. Are you guys ready for this? So loading.io. Somebody turned me onto that a long time ago, and I don't remember who did. But it looks like this. And I showed it to Kurt, and he went off and found some really cool stuff to do in Power Apps with it, to be honest. Remember playing around with that, Kurt?
I do.
What was it? Lab 2, you got a bouncing ball and you got this like grid coming and all that type of stuff. That was really cool.
Right. Now I think that the background of that came from Loading.io, but the bouncing ball did not.
Oh, why not?
No, that's what you folks are going to have to program.
Here's a question for you two. So this business, this organization has to deal with, they're called green thumbs. I'm thinking something like earthy, maybe something in the garden. Now we're going to plug in the colors here in a moment, but what animation? Should we go with Pac-Man? Probably not. Is there anything here that reminds you of something organic?
Yeah, we still had there was like a plant growing or a shovel or
Yeah.
it's probably something in
Let
here.
me go check out their
I kind of like the
website.
infinity. I kind of like the infinity thing up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That could be something that would be something like that because you're always changing. There's like a season and a cycle, right? With growing things.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
So that I kind of like that. Is there any more below?
Yeah. I'm just trying to find their yeah, they like plants growing almost like they're gardeners or something here.
Yeah.
Maybe a flower? With sunshine?
That sunshine, I kind of like it. If you got flowers or I like the sun flag maybe.
Maybe one of these two.
Yeah, or the infinity.
Yeah.
One of them
What about
three.
the one just on the load?
Oh, you know
What's
what? You know
Yeah,
what?
scroll
What?
down a little, yeah. By your okay, can you see that load? The one that has load.
I want to what?
You're going to down. Go up a little. Yes. The second to the last.
This right here?
Yeah, just on top. The one on top of the load. The load. No, by your left. Go left one. Left. Then up. You're right. You're right. Yes.
This little spooky ghost?
No. The one by your left.
The spiral.
Oh, the spiral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
it
you'll
make
see
sense?
spirals outside in gardens and stuff, don't you? Not bad, not bad.
You could do like you got rainy and you got the sun and
Or we
I
could work
thought
with
I
the
had
sun.
a pro. So this should be free well, I shouldn't say free. I paid, I don't know, a few dollars every year. I'm going to try the colors here and see if that's sort of cool. I like that. So we have 4 colors here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize, well, we need yellow. I mean, if it's the sun, right? We could
Yeah.
probably use that Copperfield color. Let's do that. Brightest, we'll use that. And then the less bright,
Wow.
it's called, okay, cashmere. Use cashmere.
This is a great song.
Then we have soft amber. Okay. Now I could probably change the speed. It seems just like a little too fast for me. Background, we'll turn the background transparency on. And the size is set to 200. You guys can see everything okay? I can zoom in on this. Probably should be doing that. I can turn down the size.
Too much.
That was too much, huh? So what was it set to 200? Oh, can I change it? Here we go. And then what I want to do is, I always want to save it as a SVG. And I'll say animated. I'll download it. And it's going to save it somewhere on one of my hard drives. I'm going to put that up on my desktop. And I'm going to call it GRA. All of my graphics always prefix it with GRA because when you're coding and needed to pull up something, I just type GRA and boom, there it is. And I'll say sunshine. Okay, so we've got that. All right, I'm going to move that out of there. Hopefully, my computer will help me out. There we go. So I am going to upload that. Go into multimedia, and I'm going to upload. I don't like to show off the files on my hard drives. That's why I keep pulling it off the screen. I'll upload that. Okay, so now I will click on this button. I'll go in and control hover color. Let's see what that looks like. If I hover over this, you guys like that color? Like if I hover over a text box, it's not too bad, huh? I think I can keep that. But for the image, I should go in here, right here. You see where it says that? I'm going to say GRA sunshine. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the curly brace to curly brace. What do you guys think of when you see curly braces in Power Apps? Elvis?
Yep.
You think of like a record or a row within a table? That's what I think of whenever I see curly braces.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sort of like it now. If I click on Test Spinner, I don't know. Is this working or what? What did I do wrong here? Well, there's the spinner. Let's make sure the spinner's on top of everything. And there's the image. Okay, so what I need to do, so I copied the curly brace to curly brace. I'm going to go over to App, and I'm going to go into On Start. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down with all the themes, and I'm going to add this theme at the beginning. Hit Shift Enter. I'll paste that in. I need to put a comment in there. And now I use Shift up arrow to select what I just pasted in and make sure it aligns all nice. Now it's not really helping me out here. Very good. There we go. And then I'm going to grab this title or a key to this theme. I'll go to the very top where all my global values are at for this app. Instead of Power Apps purple, we're going to have green thumb theme. Okay. And for the version, I always use the current date. So 11/03. Okay. And what this is going to be is green thumb template. Okay, there we go. Now, what is, of course, I need to run this again, run on start, and everything should be good there. Let's go look at my email address here because that's how I can throw myself into being the developer, the super user or the app admins. So I'll go down to those same values for this global variable. You see how we use a set keyword? We create a global, and we've got these two curly braces. So we're creating a little record of field and value pairs, named value pairs here. Okay. Yeah. So if I go down here and okay, look, developer emails. So you can paste it in here, but there's actually this global variable I set at the very top. I'll paste that in there. Okay. So now that variable will be put in for the developer, app admins, testers. Okay. And then I'm going to save early, save often. I'm going to run on start again here. And if you go to the second screen I have set up in the Jumpstart kit, we should have a our spinner here, but it's not. So we're going to have to sort of debug this thing. If I click on that, oh, it works.
Wow.
Why is that? So we have an image here, global theme.spinner. So do we have any image in here at all? That's sort of interesting. Global theme.spinner. Let's go open the app on start. And where do we set our global? We have a GBL theme. Let's see how this is set up. We go do a lookup. Application goes theme key, and we go look it up from this collection. Well, what is this collection? Well, these are all the different themes that we could pull in. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how I implement it. That's how I pull this in dynamically. So if we take a look at this, I do a lookup to get that record, and I'm trying to match up the title with the theme key. So if I go up here to the top, those are all the themes that were set up. And I thought I had pasted that in there, and it looks like it took, but the spinner is not, put me out here. Now, there's the theme key, green thumb dash theme, and it should be bringing it in. It really should be. So,
Okay.
Bert, help me out. Elvis, help me out.
Let me get serious here. Okay.
There's our sunshine. I'm halfway tempted to close the project and come back in. You guys think that's a good idea?
Yeah. Did you try to read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Does Power Ups ever do this to you? You try to leave and it just,
Yeah.
it's already pulling tricks on me. So this is what I do. I just open up a new one. Let's see if I can get Power Ups to come up this way. And what I mean to do is always like to pull things down here on my bar. So I'll pull that down so I can get back to it easily. And this thing is still hung up. I'll leave that. Get rid of that. And we'll go in here. Okay. So now if I go over to the loading screen, it is still not coming up. If I go to copy controls from here, test spinner, what is going on? I've never had this problem before. So this thing, GRA Sunshine SVG. A little stumped here. But this is why you guys watch me, right? It's not all sanitized and sunshine all the time. You see me dealing with real world problems as you would, right? So global theme dot spinner.
You don't have any kind of like visibility set or anything like that? Transparencies.
So this should change the transparency of it. That really adds to the professional look and feel, I feel, as having a good spinner. And I don't want to have to go around to every screen and just paste this in. This should be GRA Sunshine. Okay. I'm going to go back up. Look at the app on start. I have a feeling it's somewhere in there. Go look it up there. looking at these other spinners. They've got dashes in them, which shouldn't be necessary. Let me try this. GRA. Sunshine. I'm going to take that name there, that reference. Spinner graphic. Oh, it says spinner, not spinner graphic.
Huh.
Isn't that interesting? So let's go down to here. Okay, so it says spinner. But here I say spinner graphic.
Graphic.
Wow.
It did exactly what you were telling it to do.
Yeah. Sometimes you think, oh, there's a bug in here, or this thing's crazy. Look, there we go.
Now we're gone. Now we're gone.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
I like it. Awesome. Okay, so this particular company really doesn't have a logo. So their company name on their website is just up there and it's in white. And a banner typically like this, I think it always this application header bar at the top always looks best, in my opinion, with a darker background color, which we have. So I'm wondering if there would be a good way of doing this here. Okay. I might actually ask them if they have a logo. If I go off to their Facebook page, let's see if they've got any logos. They do have a logo. Okay. Well, just and it's like a darker color. It's not a white. They might have like a PNG or even an Illustrator file that they could send me. So I might circle back with them on that, and maybe record that so I can sort of tack it on this video so you guys see what I do. But yeah, a lot of companies will give you graphics. You go to their website and they've got a white header at the top, which looks good on a public-facing website a lot of times. And then their logo is in like darker colors. And I'd sort of like to keep with the theme here, a darker application header. What other things would you imagine that we would want to customize for an organization? I can see right here, if we send out emails, we might want to have this link to actually be the correct link for this particular application. Now, how do you find that? Well, you try to share it with somebody. Okay. And once this comes up, you change your mind and click on this area and click on this little copy button here. That's going to give us a good link to this app. Now, if we do a save as, it will have a different, application link there. Okay. So there we go. That's going to be a link to the app. What else could we do here? User roles set up. We have the theme set up. Now, does I think the menu looks good, looks fine to me. Now, sometimes people like to see this little bar on the side on their, oh my goodness, this looks a little ugly. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Especially the hover over. Ooh. Okay. Well, the first thing I want to do for the background of this rectangle, this is primary light. Let's go with secondary light. See what that looks like. Oh, that looks so much better, doesn't it? So I'm going to go with that one. Now the hover color, we're just using primary light there. Okay, I'm a little surprised by that. Yeah, we actually have a property in our theme for our gallery, right? Selected background.
Yeah.
So if we do that, that should give us a much better color. So why don't we have that set up on those two? Go to the, use that instead. Okay, I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I'm going to click around on some of these other screens. So I use this as a new screen. Almost every screen will have a gallery or at least some input controls. We've got some buttons here. Okay, so that's looking good. The blank screen, that looks like what I would expect. Tab screen, that looks nice. Now if I hover over, now that color is a little off. Let's make sure that we're pulling in the right color here. Control hover color is global theme dot control hover color. Well, that should probably be the same thing that we're using for the gallery. I'm going to go back over to app on start. And so this is good. This is what you'd want to do if you're customizing a theme of the Jumpstart kit or your template. There's going to be a little bit of going back and forth. Does this look right on this screen? Does it look right here? And you sort of tweak things a little bit. So I'm going to go to the first one. Okay. And what I want is to have this to be the same thing as this. We'll rerun the run on start there, and I'll hover over it. That looks a lot better. Okay, so the tab screen is looking good. We have an app admin screen. Now, typically what I like to have here is a nice rectangle. And I might go with the secondary light. So these are just rectangles I put on there to sort of demonstrate what everything's going to look like. And I'm going to copy that. And for the application administration screen, typically I'll have a rectangle like this. And I will sort of center it on the screen. And we might have some, like a little, what do you call this in Access? A lot of times I'll call them switchboards or something. So I'll put it in the middle. I'm sort of hoping that Power Apps would help me out. There we go. This is the middle of the screen. It doesn't look like it's in the middle of the screen, though, does it? It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Now, how do we center a rectangle or a control right in the middle of the screen? Elvis, do you know the answer to this?
We need to write a bit of formula.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So we'll put some type of a formula here that will utilize math.
What you want to put up there, Elvis?
Yeah, we could have the parent dots, like if the rectangle is on top of the screen, so we can say the parent dot width divided by 2. We can try that out.
Yeah. So we can say parent dot width. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, parent dot width divide by 2.
Divide by 2. Okay.
Yeah. So we also need to consider the width of the rectangle. So I believe we should have done parent dot width minus self dot width, then divide by 2.
Okay.
You know, you have to wrap it in parentheses.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Why do you got to do that?
Because did it work? Yay!
But why do you got to put parentheses in there?
Yeah, you know, it works like how we have how math works. It has to go from the higher hierarchy to the lower aspect. So if the division is to come first, because the division comes before the subtraction or so we have to like enclose it so a particular operation works before the other. I don't know if I explained that well. But you might have issues if you don't wrap it in parentheses.
So you're saying if I didn't put those parentheses in there, it would take the width, the rectangle width, and divide that by 2 and subtract it from that. So it'd be a math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Order precedence.
That's the best way to do it.
Order of operations. You got to defeat
Order
the
of operations. Good stuff. All right, where did my application administration? Okay, so on an app end screen, I'll typically have a button or two here to allow them to go off to more. Now, what I might do is, I wish I would have done that with a container. I got so used to not using containers because we didn't have containers. But if I had made that a container, this would have probably been better. But anyway, I'm going to put it right there in the middle. I'm going to make this maybe 260, 280, maybe something like take up more the width. Sometimes the app admin screens, it could have quite a bit of a title there. So I'm going to put that there. And okay, I'm sort of liking this.
Wow.
Is there anything else? Now, let me ask you guys a question. What value are we giving to a client? If we take a jumpstart kit or a template you already have, we customize it for them. All right, so we brought in their theming. So what, right? But really, what are we giving them? What didn't we have to do if we started from scratch? We didn't have to create a menu. We didn't have to create these components. Well, let's go over here in this template and see what's all included.
Think about every one of those controls that you would have to be setting for the colors, right? You'd have to go through all that over and over and over again, or at least naming everything. So, yeah.
Now, Kurt or Elvis, riddle me this. If we go in here like, oh, well, Power Apps has themes. Why not just use one of these themes? Why go through all the trouble that we did in the...
Well, you're good luck finding the theme you want. Number one.
Yeah. That's true.
But it's also not going to do the same exact things that you've got more control over the theming.
Yeah.
Because Microsoft is going to theme what they think is right, but then you might want to be able to do some customized stuff in there.
Yeah.
We can actually get more detailed in the theming than they're giving us a general theme, and they've gotten pretty good with it, but still we can actually get more fine-tuned, I think.
I actually do have a blog entry where I pretty much lay out all the features, and I think there's about 12 different features. Let me open up. Let's go off to youtube.com, and we will go look at Aaron Neese. Maybe I'm gonna have to put up with some ads if I do this. All right, so we'll go on this guy's channel here, and we're gonna pause that. Go over to playlists, and you're gonna find a playlist called How to Create Your Own Template. Okay, so I do sell my own template, but if you want to save yourself some time, well, I'm gonna have to mute this and then run it to get past these ads. So there's several aspects of having a great template. Okay, so the first thing is having the spinner that's built in, and we've changed the spinner. We created a theme. We don't have to create our own application header. We don't have to create a menu. We already have role-based security already built in. I've touched on that a little bit. There is a feature in here for tests and troubleshooting. So I can set somebody up as a tester, and they'll have this little bitty icon that is a toggle. And if you click on it, some extra things pop up. And see, I've got a little testing label in here. So I could be showing IDs of a current record. Let's say a user's like, hey, this bug happens on my screen, and I try it and it works fine on my screen. It's like, okay, well, click on the debug button here and tell me what this little text box says. So it sort of assists in troubleshooting. I turned this loose for one of my clients one time. He goes, wow, I love the debugging. I feel like I've got superpowers, like he was deploying it in his organization, and he's like, oh, you don't have the debugger feature. And he clicked on it, and he was able to do extra things, which I thought was mildly amusing, that he thought of it as like superpowers. And there's our sunshine. Right. So what else do we have here? So the security, we have got the test and troubleshooting. That's the debug feature. This video actually goes through all the features that's inside my template and sort of walks you through all that. So if you guys are interested in this, check that out. This one was a little minute video where I was showing off the dynamic theming. What was that? And this video is something I released just this week that talks about how you can keep track of your user activity. So here within the template, if I go over to the screen right here, look at this. I have been keeping track of every screen that I've gone to. Every single screen has an on visible. I've got code that keeps track of all that. So if you're interested in keeping track of who's using your app, if your users say, yeah, we've been testing it all week, and you're like, okay, and you go out to this database table called screen use, and you see that they just went in there and clicked on home screen and then went to one screen and then there were no other records, they probably didn't test it all that well. So you might want to say, well, let's continue to do testing, or let's add in a few more testers before we go live. That will give you that insight, which is really nice. So do you guys feel like we've got a good, solid, configured and product that we can give to a client that they can use for any of their Power Apps projects? What are your thoughts?
I think so.
Yeah.
Did you want to do something? What about putting that company name over there and fixing that?
Yeah, I sort of need a good logo from them. Let me see if I can.
That would when they see that would make them go ooh, because you're giving them oohs and ahs is what you're doing here.
Yeah, the first impression is really important, right? Yeah, this is probably the last final touch. I'll probably take their logo that really wouldn't work well in here with how they have things set up. I might bring it into Photoshop or Illustrator and try to change the colors. So that's one step that maybe I'll have to do a follow-up on. But typically, you can ask the company, okay, give me a version of your logo that has a transparent background and that has light colors as the logo. Because if you have a logo typically designed properly, you'll have different versions of it. Okay. So that, like, if you see a Nike logo, well, that could be white on a dark shoe, or it could be a dark shoe with a white Nike logo. So they'll have different versions of it, and you could have a transparent logo. You can do all kinds of different things. So ask the organization, like, hey, you have give me the best version, your high res version of your logo, and give me all the versions that you have, so I can fit it into certain spots that will it'll look appropriate. So that's what I think I still need to do. And how much time do we have we've got 15 minutes to sort of finish that up. Okay, so so we got a little bit of time, so might as well just try this out, right? I'll show you what I would do for this case. I'm going to save this image down onto my hard drive. And Elvis, do you have any Photoshop skills?
Nah,
No.
5%.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of skills. I'm trying to think how I could do this. I do a lot of stuff in Canva. So let me see if I can, once I get it brought up here, I'll bring the window down so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me see what the dimensions are of this, because that's the type of dimension I want to use for the Canva project. So if you guys aren't familiar with Canva, it's a great tool to, it's really easy. It's sort of like the Power Apps of doing graphic type of work. You know, think of like Photoshop as, oh, that's your full stack developer. And it's like, oh yeah, well, I can open up Canva and run circles around you, you know, and crank out all kinds of graphics. This is sort of true. But, you know, Photoshop is, you know, sometimes does things that you just can't do with Canva. But Canva does surprise a lot of people what you can accomplish. So
is it like, is it pretty high end expensive?
The Adobe products, yeah, I pay $50 a month to access their suite of products. So they've got
Can-
Adobe Premiere, which I've never learned how to use, which is movie creation.
Canva is Adobe?
No,
That's
no.
what I was asking. Is
Canva,
Canva,
there's a free version of Canva. I think I might pay Canva. I haven't looked at the pricing, so I really don't know. But I think it might have been something like $50 for a year, or
yeah, that's what I was asking.
$10 a month, or something like that.
Okay.
Let me go open that file over here. So we're looking at dimensions of like 665. Ready to design. Custom. 665. Create a new design here. And I am going to drag this over here. Oh, look, there's some pretty photos of me and stuff here. Okay, so I'm going to drag this up. So if you can imagine what this logo would look like up here where it says the company name, I don't think it would look good. Now, it's no problem to have a transparent background here, but it would be these dark colors on top of that. You probably wouldn't even see these lines. So I don't know. Let's see if we can figure something out here. I'm going to edit the photo. And I can apply filters. I can do shadows. I could do, if I do a shadow and do an outline, ooh, I don't like that. The first thing really that we need to do is get rid of the background, which is all white. So I'm going to click on background remover. It's looking a little ugly, isn't it? I'm going to go back into shadow. I'm going to make it an outline. And it is black. Now the size is way too much. Maybe pull that down to 1 or 2. I don't know that that's going to really help us out. Now, if we change that to a white, so all zeros and hex are black. How do we do white here, Kurt?
I don't know. What is it, Elvis? You know?
How high can we go with these hexadecimal values?
How do you get white and hex?
I don't know. Elvis, you paying attention?
Ouch.
So what do you say? Ouch.
It said ouch. So it'd be all F's. All F's would be
4, 5, 6. There we go. So we're gonna give it in Photoshop you call it a stroke. There's like a thing going around, and so I'm gonna click on this again. Edit photo. I want it to stay up here. Shadow. We've got a white stroke around things. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to move this around. I'm going to give this I'm going to give it like what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it the same color as we have in the app. So let me go get that hex value there. So we'll see what it's going to look like. You guys thought you were going to be learning some Power App stuff, but you're really learning some things about colors and Canva and okay, that doesn't look too bad. Now it's a little too much of a stroke there. So I'm going to click on the image and I'm going to say edit photo, go into the shadows and bring that down a little bit. Ooh. What do you guys think of that? Does that look okay?
not bad.
Wow.
I almost would like, if I could specify the RGB. So the first 2 F's, that's the R, this is the G, and the B. RGB stands for red, green, blue. RGB, yeah. I wish I could have the alpha to not make it so strong. think this might be the first good go around, and I could put it in there, and they can tell me what they think. What I want to do with this, however, is I'm going to duplicate this somehow. Let's see, duplicate, and then up here, bring this down. We don't want too much gutter around it, too much spacing. And I'm going to make this a complete white. So when I say transparent background, hopefully it picks that up. Click download. I'm going to uncheck those three. I'm going to say, just give me the current page. Transparent background. It's going to be a PNG, which if you pick like JPEG, you can't have transparent backgrounds with PNG, with JPEGs, but you can with PNG. So I'm going to hit download. And I'm going to save that on my desktop somewhere here. That up. And I'm going to say green thumb logo. And I'm going to go look at it and see if it still has all that gutter in there. We don't know about ChatGPT right now. And yeah, I'd sort of like to edit this image here, and I don't want all this other stuff. And I'm just going to save it. And got that. And we are running out of time, aren't we? We got what, 15 minutes here, Kurt?
Yeah.
Before our next thing we need to take care of.
Yeah.
Okay, this is enough time. We're gonna get it. Up. Let's go to multimedia or media here. Upload. Got that. I've uploaded it. There we go. And you know, I should have renamed that. I wonder if they'll let me. Nope, they're not going to allow me to rename it. I need to re-upload it. And what we will do here is rename it before I put it up there. So GRA logo. Named. I'm going to select the file. Okay, I'm going to click on the image and just bring it up over here and see what it looks like. Now, I've got a little bit of a problem with it because it didn't give me a transparent background. I'm a little disappointed. Why didn't it do that for me?
Looks nice though.
Strange. Let me try this. Something that will work. It almost always has worked for me with a transparent background, but just for the sake of time here, I'm going to just grab the one that already has the background that we'll be putting it on. So that will work. I'm just going to click transparent. Hopefully it gives it to, oh, I clicked on it and clicked it off. So maybe that's what happened before. Go ahead and save that on here. And I'm going to just double click on it. Replace, yes. Go. Now, I do use a tool within Windows. I'm running Windows 11, and there's like a little photo tool that allows me to do things like crop. And I'm going to use that here. Okay, now this one does have a transparent background, which is good. And I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff up here. If you ever see like a little checker background like that, that's typically how graphic programs lets you know that it really is transparent. Save that. And we'll upload it. And it should actually replace it. Did it do that? So here's Green Thumb logo. Okay. What's good about having a transparent background is it would work almost with any background, especially since we put a white stroke around everything. Now, how do we get rid of this old one? Well, we don't want to go in our component and rip things out and hard code things. I actually set this up in the template here in the on start. If you scroll down where we start setting things up, you'll notice that we have application logo. Green tree. What is it called? It's called Green Thumb. Okay. We need to go to our tree view and run this. What do you think of that? Can't really see it, can you?
It's not bad.
It's very difficult to see.
Kind of, yeah.
So I'm going to run it, make us small. It's not very complimentary, is it?
I mean, you'd have to really look at it. Yeah.
So because it's almost like a square, or it's not. Let me go into this, and what I will do is I'll set this thing up to be more like that. And I'll probably pull this over for this client here. Okay. They're probably used to seeing their. What were you going to say, Kurt?
It's starting to look a little bit better. I guess if we didn't have such a dark background,
Yeah.
if you could use one of the other theme colors in that background, it's not looking bad though.
It's a little better.
Yeah. It's not terrible.
And they're probably used to seeing their own logo. So I like how it's sitting here on the first screen. So I'm going to hit save. And at this point, I would probably be hitting up the client like, hey, give me your feedback here. And of course, they're going to have some tweaks and stuff. And then once it's finalized, like, all right, let's start cranking out these apps for you.
There
you know?
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. All right, guys, I think that ends the session. I'll catch you next time.